Now, these jurisdictions recognise something that we have ignored, that prohibition leads to organised crime and violence. In a black market, there is no consumer protections, there is no legal recourse. In fact, Milton Friedman, arguably the greatest defender of free market capitalism in the last century, said, quote, "If you look at the drug war from a purely economic point of view, the role of the government is to protect the drug cartel." And while we may not have the same problems with cartels that other countries do, the same can be observed here. That is, prohibitionist policies create black markets and lead to organised crime. Our efforts to inhibit the drug trade increase risk. They drive up prices, making drug dealing even more lucrative and drug users more desperate. If we, like those other jurisdictions, legalised recreational cannabis, we would see that the black market and all the violence and crime that goes with it disappear overnight. Valuable police resources could be spent focusing on violent crime. Our courts, our prosecutors, our jails would be freed up to focus on more serious crime. It costs the taxpayer about $345 a day to keep somebody in jail. In fact, a case was brought to my attention just recently of a gentleman who, for his own personal use, grew a cannabis plant in his backyard, quite foolishly. It grew to a ridiculous height, as they do. And despite the Department of the DPP conceding that there was no commerciality in his growing of this plant, he was still designated a drug trafficker, and as a result is now losing his home for growing a pot plant in his backyard. A man is going to lose his home. I can't recall his name now, but it's a case that's ongoing right now in Western Australia. For growing a pot plant in his backyard, will lose his home. His partner, who owns half the home, had no involvement in his horticultural activities, is also going to lose her equity in that home too. Now, Colorado is perhaps the best case study for the economic benefits of legalising cannabis. Colorado has a population of 5.5 million, so a little over double the population of Western Australia. In 2015, Colorado welcomed a record 77.7 million visitors, who spent an all-time high of 19.1 billion US. That is an increase of 30% in tourists and a 14% increase in their spending since 2012. Now, 28,847 occupational licenses have been issued for jobs created directly by Colorado's cannabis industry. Colorado generated $135.1 million in cannabis taxes and fees in 2015, $200 million in 2016, and some projections for 2017 put that at around $506 million. US, of course. Sorry, I haven't done the conversion for you. When recreational cannabis was legalized in Colorado, the first $40 million in excise revenue was put directly into a capital works fund for their schools. Now, keeping note of the time, I'll cut my comments short because I would like to hear what other members have to say on this matter, but let me articulate the Liberal Democrat position on legalizing cannabis and other substances. We take the position that all substances should be decriminalized, taking the approach that Portugal has taken, where petty use of a substance is no longer treated as a crime, rather as a health issue. Portugal's results have seen that overdose deaths have dropped drastically, while drug usage has not increased. Sure. Decriminalised, yes. Absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Portugal took this approach back in, I think it was 2001. Even heroin, our honourable member, was decriminalised. Even heroin was decriminalised at that time. What Portugal had was an overdose epidemic. People were dying in droves, in tent camps outside cities, shooting up in appalling conditions. They decriminalised it. They saw no increase in drug usage, but they saw a massive decrease in those overdose rates. So you've got to ask yourself, what are we trying to achieve through the criminalisation of drugs in the first place? Are we trying to reduce harm, or are we simply trying to punish people for indulging in an activity that we disapprove of?